returns. Like, what is this? Another hot take video? Like, Nintendo is ripping off gamers again. Well, okay, but they seem to be doing pretty well for themselves. Unbelievable. I hate this guy every time he opens his mouth. He's like, it's like Gandalf never left the Shire and he just holed himself up in Bilbo's house, Bag End, and just never left. So that's basically the alternate reality of what this is that this guy is bumming on Bilbo's couch. But anyway, let's take a look and see what Gandalf the Gay has to say about
the real life fake wizard. Buckle up, everyone. Nintendo is doing evil, greedy, corporate nonsense again.
Okay. Like, the whole Nintendo is evil thing is so played out. You can't really take it seriously because, okay, what are they doing that's worse than other corporations? Like, is their hardware more expensive? Are their games more expensive? Are they exploited with the DLC? No. The answer is no. Like, games are getting more expensive in general. Like, I didn't hear a peep out of these people when PlayStation and Xbox rose the standard MSRP to $70 last generation, and they're already talking about raising it again next generation. Like Grand Theft Auto 6, we've known it's going to be sold at a higher price point for years now. So, no, I am tired of hearing people complain about the price points. I never want to hear it brought up. Anybody who talks about them is disingenuous. PC is more expensive. PlayStation and Xbox is more expensive. Mobile is more expensive, right? Nintendo is the most affordable brand, and that hasn't changed. So this guy, right off the bat, has already proven himself to be a dipshit.
Let's talk about it. Last week was the September 2025 Nintendo Direct. I didn't get the chance to watch it live, but I have seen it now, and let's see. A new Fire Emblem game. The Fire Emblem is in my top 5 favorite franchises of all time, and it's a Switch 2 exclusive. Well, that sucks.
Wait, what? So wait. You were gonna complain about a game being a Switch 2 exclusive. What?
Skipping this one, or I don't know, maybe I'll play it at my buddy Jack's house. Wink. Okay, but there's more to talk about than just going over each.
So we're already at the point where these guys, these dipshits, these Nintendo critic channels, they're already like implying they're gonna pirate games or that they're gonna play games from at other people's houses, and they're like, bro, you're playing the games, you're hyped about the games, you're talking about the games, like the games have value, and there's really nothing you can say to kind of dismiss that in your channel. So like right off the bat, whatever he says next in regards to quality of the directs, it's out the window because he wants to play this game, and he has admitted that, and he's already bent the knee. He is like, he didn't even get to the Balrog. He never left Bilbo's house. Okay? Like, it's just, wow.
Announcement, right? Though it is important to see that this Fire Emblem game is a Switch 2 exclusive. Donkey Kong Bonanza was exclusive. Mario Kart World was exclusive. After the announcement of the Switch 2, Nintendo of America President Doug Bowser alluded to the Switch 1 remaining as part of the active hardware for Switch games.
Yes.
We had that famous quote. We recognize there are some people that may not be able to afford the Switch 2's price point. That's why we wanted to make the other Switch platforms available, so people still have an opportunity to come into our gaming universe.
So they have no idea. So you don't have to buy the Switch 2 right away. The Switch 1 is still being supported. It's still getting new games for it. Like comparing this to like what Don Matrick did is laughably stupid. But anyway.
Well, apparently that's a crock of crap. We're not even...
Oh, yeah. So Switch 2 can't have any exclusive games. Okay. It doesn't matter that we're getting the Switch One's getting Metroid Prime 4 or Pokemon Legends ZA or Rhythm Heaven or Tamagotchi, like, oh, it's not getting Fire Emblem, so the Switch One is worthless now. Like, no, like, again, I would not be surprised if he picks up a Switch 2 next year just for Fire Emblem. What a
months from the release of the Switch 2, and 3 major releases are Switch 2 exclusives. And it doesn't stop there. Kirby Air Riders is exclusive.
Yep.
Mario Tennis Fever is exclusive.
Yep.
And the new Hyrule Warriors game is exclusive.
So this asshole is seriously bending over backwards complaining about Switch 2 exclusives. Like, how delusional and like, most people are complaining about the Switch 2 not getting enough exclusives, but this guy, oh, like he's such a hipster. Like, he has to go the opposite direction. No, the Switch 2 is getting too many exclusives. Like, which is it? Like, which is it?
So that whole quote from Doug Bowser was just a complete lie?
No, because it's still getting new games. It's not getting all of the games, but it is still getting supported, and it's still on the market, and you can still, the Switch One still has a lot of functionality with the Switch 2, okay? If you don't want to get the Switch 2 right away, you don't have to. This isn't complicated.
Yes, and we're just getting started here, folks. Swearing off the Switch 2 is not fun. But after what we're about to discuss, I genuinely can't understand how people are okay with buying this stuff from Nintendo. Let's look at the Mario Galaxy announcement. No, not the movie, the game bundle. Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, originally Wii games that sold so many copies that they were given the Nintendo Select branding, are being bundled and released for $69.99.
Yeah, perfectly reasonable.
$70
Yep,
for
fine.
2 games that were $20 a piece just a few, a decade ago. Oh, and these aren't remasters or remakes. They're ports to the Switch 1. And if
No. You can clearly see the visual upgrade. Like, it's running at a higher resolution than it was on the Wii U. Like, they are improved, and we have seen this already. They've added like a handful of features. Like, this isn't like an emulated like virtual console thing. Like, this is a full re-release for the hardware. $70 is a perfectly reasonable price point. He is complaining about these games being like $35 each. So, like, to put things into context, like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, for 2 of the best 3D platformers ever, like, come on. I never want to hear this again. Like, oh, they were only like $40 on the Wii U if you got them both. Like, yeah. The Wii U was backwards compatible with Wii games. It had a virtual console system. This is a full-on like re-release. So no, yes, it does deserve to be at a higher price point. Again, I can't reiterate this enough. I don't want to hear people complaining about the price points. I don't want to see people comparing to prices from 10 years ago, or for when games were on sale, or when they bought them at a flea market, like, or when like somebody just gave them to, like, no, like, this is a perfectly reasonable price point.
Buy them separately because perhaps you got the 3D All-Stars bundle a few years ago. Each game will run you $40 a pop. This is ridiculous, right? Like, this isn't just me.
Wait, $40? Wait, no, together they're $70. If you buy them separately, they're $40, but like the collection is $70. So he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Of Nintendo Select Wii games are $40 a piece, $70 for the lot. I don't know. That plus the weight of what we're about to talk about, it just makes things worse. Like, we're starting this Sunday with the
Nintendo Selects are like specifically meant to be like budget re-releases, by the way. So they're like older games that they reprint at a lower cost price point to bring in new people. Like, so comparing, like, okay. So Super Mario Galaxy originally launched at $50, right? Super Mario Galaxy 2 launched at $50. Like, paying $70 for both is actually a steal when you put it into that context. But like, no, like, instead he has to talk about like, well, at one point they were 20, and like, no, that's not a reasonable comparison.
On top. Pokemon Legends ZA. Yay! We all love Pokemon here, right?
Yep.
Personally, I do, or I did. although I opted out of the franchise at Scarlet and Violet because of how terrible they were to look at. But anyway,
Okay,
Legend
yeah,
Z
so he doesn't know what he's talking about. Yeah, Scarlet and Violet is one of the best generations, but okay.
is getting a Switch 1 and Switch 2 edition, with the Switch 1 clocking in at $60 and Switch 2 clocking in at $70. A $10 bump for what exactly?
It looks and runs better. Like, you can clearly see the difference. Come on.
Quote, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition features improved performance, enhanced resolution, and smoother frame rates, meaning Lumio City is now more vibrant than ever. Okay, so it's $10 more for a better frame rate and better video quality.
Yeah, because it's on a more powerful platform. They put work into that. You know, like, yes, there's nothing unreasonable about that.
That's it? That's ridiculous. But that's not the worst part. There's still more. On launch day, Legends ZA is going to have a $30 DLC add-on that includes the end game. Yeah, that's right. If you've played Pokemon games before, you do the main game, you beat the Elite Four in the Pokemon League, and then there's some kind of an end game. But here, it looks as though Nintendo and Game Freak
It's just an expansion. It's a normal expansion. We saw this with Xenoblade got an expansion fairly early on. Like, this is nothing unusual or weird.
have carved away the end game just to sell it back to you for $30. This is day one $30 DLC that is available on day one. This isn't a pre-order of content that's still in development to come later, which means in order to get the complete
So you're saying it would be okay if they just announced it after the game came out, but you're gonna see him like turn around and complain about Bonanza, doing just that. So
one version of this game with decent graphics, you're not spending $70. You're spending $100. But wait, there's still more.
You don't have to buy the DLC if you don't want it.
This Pokemon Legends ZA game is something of a prequel sequel to Pokemon X and Y, which had their own starter Pokemon. In Legends, those starter Pokemon will be getting Mega Evolution upgrades. In order to actually acquire these upgrades, you will need to compete in online ranked battles across 3 seasons. Okay, well that requires a Nintendo Switch Online subscription, and because it's spread out over 3 seasons, we're looking at least 3 months of content at the minimum, which means 3 months of subscription to NSO, which means an additional...
Oh, wow. So $20, you're paying $20 for a year of NSO. Like, this is just nitpicking to the nth degree. Like, what is he talking about? Oh, you're going to have to, if you want to do this online feature in this game, you're going to have to pay for online. Yeah. So what? Like, NSO is nothing. $20 a year for base, $50 for expansion. Like, it is nothing. And he's acting like it's only for this game and you don't get like other benefits like Nintendo Classics or, playing other games, game trials, things like that. Like, what a joke.
$12 added to our day one full game price point. Pokemon Legends ZA costs $112. Can I pause here and say that
that's not like, oh man, if you buy the game on Nintendo Switch 2 and the DLC and then an NSO subscription, it's gonna run you $120. Yeah, you know what? I paid more than that when I bought the Switch 2. Okay, I bought like 5 games day one. Like, oh man, I bought all these games. I paid like $700. Like, yeah, it happens. But I wanted to do it, and I got enjoyment out of it. I got my money's worth, and there's just no getting around it. What are you playing that's going to be as good as Pokemon Legends yet? Nothing. Nothing's even going to come close. And you're making YouTube videos complaining about it.
In the past, I have received death threats for
Oh,
saying Nintendo is a greedy company.
aw,
Yeah,
aw. Sure,
people
sure
have
you
sent
have.
me pretty
Sure, Anita. Oh man, this is straight up out of Anita Sarkeesian's playbook. Oh man, Nintendo fans have said mean things about me over the internet. Like, yeah, so what? Like, come on. Wouldn't you just come back as Gandalf the White? Could it be that you're not actually a real wizard and that you don't actually have any credibility when talking about video games?
nasty emails with very serious threats in them. And look, I'll say again, you could say it with me if you'd like. Nintendo is a greedy company
Nope.
that is ripping off consumers who are too addicted and too attached to these brands to reject them. $112 for a Pokemon game that looks and runs as if it was on the Wii is pathetic. Pokemon Coliseum came out in 2004, and every single Pokemon has unique animations, and it retailed for $50 on release, complete game and all. This $112 package,
Wow, Coliseum, the game with no wild encounters, this really bizarre story, just this game that just really put a lot of people off because of its structure and its design. Yeah, it's not even like an interconnected map. You go to places by select. Like, okay, Coliseum has a lot of problems. And it pales in comparison to mainline Pokemon for sure. This is definitely something that I do think needs to be brought up whenever talking about Coliseum and the spin-off games, and like, what spin-off Pokemon product is more successful than mainline? Like, none of them. Like, none of them have retained the relevancy. None of them have created like the all-time goated like RPG formula. Like, Pokemon is in a league of its own. And the spin-offs, like Coliseum, have never really quite competed.
like it's ridiculous. But wait, because there's still more. Apparently, carving the endgame out of Nintendo games to sell it back to you for tens of dollars is the vibe now. Donkey Kong Bonanza got an endgame DLC for 20 bucks.
Yep. Knew it. Knew it, 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 knew it. So, okay, so this is the double standard. So apparently, like, Pokemon Legends ZA having DLC is a problem because they announced it pre-release. But Bonanza is 2 months old as of the airing of this direct. And he also has a problem with this. What this mode offered. And it's just, again, this just goes to show you just what lengths he will go to try and downplay everything Nintendo does. Because I have played the Bonanza DLC now. It's great. I really love it. As a longtime fan of Donkey Kong, it's great seeing all these iconic locations. I love Emerald Rush. It really complements the unique mechanics of Bonanza well. This was a really interesting, fresh change of pace.
The same day as this Nintendo Direct, and the reports are in. This thing is bare bones empty. There is little to nothing to do.
Oh, okay. The game is already 40 hours long. There's plenty of stuff to do in the base game. Bonanza, the DLC is mostly focused around like the Emerald Rush mode, which has a lot of content, a lot of things to do, is endlessly replayable. Basically, when people say the game is bare bones, they basically mean there's like nothing to collect on DK Island. And that's because, yeah, it's not part of the base game, like the DLC is Emerald Rush. So
on this, I have to take first-party accounts at their word because I don't own a Switch 2, nor
Yep.
do I own Bonanza, nor would I spend $20 on nonsense endgame DLC. For comparison,
it's not even endgame. You can get there before you get the final. I think there are ways to trigger it before you beat the game, actually. But anyway,
Hollow Knight Silk Song was a long-awaited game from a developer.
Silk Song was disappointing. It wasn't that good. Shut the fuck up. And besides, one game that took 8 years to produce, releasing at $20, like, okay, but what about everything else that Nintendo is doing? Like, Dragon Drive released for $20 and was better than this. There's just Silk Song just isn't that good.
That would be considered indie-sized, but with AAA cash because of their success. This game was more or less shadow dropped with no pre-order option for $20. It peaked at 587,000 players on Steam.
Wow, look at that massive downturn. Look at how look at how many people have stopped playing Silksong. Like, isn't that like significantly lower than Power World's numbers? Silksong is not as successful as people make it out to be, but
And that's just Steam. This
that's
game
just
is available
Steam.
on
Yeah,
a
it
lot
wasn't
of
popular on other
systems and
platforms.
consoles, which means the idea that charging more money gets
Bonanza's already outperforming Silksong on the eShop, by the way. But
better experiences from developers is complete bogus. $20 for Silksong, $50 for Expedition 33, $30 for Blueprints,
$50 for Expedition 33, that's not much less than 70. I can't wrap my head around just like how much these people like, well, $50 for Expedition 33. That's not a huge difference.
$3 for Pal World. The $80 games conversation is bleeding its integrity. There are games popping up all the time from developers all over the world that are cheaper in price point, but matching in quality or superior to AAA video game experience.
That's true for general like AAA games, but not Nintendo's. So like again, this is why you can't take this guy seriously, because he does have a point that these games are more popular than like the standard AAA slap, but he fails to account for the fact that Nintendo is better than that too. So
Experiences. Am I sad that I'm missing out on the next Fire Emblem? Maybe, but not really. Because I just discovered the Dark Deity series on Steam, which is inspired by classic Fire Emblem games.
Oh, ripping it off,
So
you
I
mean?
don't feel like I'm missing anything now. And Dark
Oh,
Deity
I'm not missing anything because I'm playing a Nindy knockoff on Steam. Like, this is his grift, by the way, if you don't know, is that he's trying to like promote these like terrible indie games on like his platform. Like that's his goal. That's what he wants. And it just isn't gonna work. Like, you're never gonna get a Game Boy Advance knockoff Fire Emblem to like surpass like the actual real thing, which is in its golden age period right now. Everything I've seen seems to indicate that like Fortune's Weave is going to be a huge, huge success. There's nothing you can do to stop that. You can't just sit there and be like, well, I'm going to play this indie knockoff slop, like, and expect people to take you seriously. Like, nobody is. Nobody even knows what this. I don't even remember the name that he just said. Like, that's how irrelevant it is.
82 is only $25. See, this is
Yeah,
where I've
because
been
nobody
coming from
plays
with
it. Look at this. This looks worse than like Fire Emblem 6. This looks like they put it together in Flash and like hired some DeviantArt creator to like do the character designs. Like, what am I looking at? Like, what I'm supposed to believe this is going to surpass Fortune's Weave, which, by the way, isn't even really a AAA game. But like, I am supposed to believe that this knockoff product is surpassing Fortune's Weave. Like, oh, but it's $25 though. I would gladly pay more for Fire Emblem, and so would everyone else. Nobody is going to pick this over Fire Emblem. No one.
this
Oh, oops.
fake portal project I've been talking about in all my videos. Now that I'm going out and looking for indie games, or you guys have been sending me indie games to put on this website, which acts as a bridge for us gamers to play and find new games, there are so many video games out there that we don't even know exist that would not only scratch the itch of the particular games we're looking to play, but also you're supporting indie developers, but also the price points are better, but also you're sticking it to companies like Nintendo that think they can charge $20 and $30 for endgame content they carved out of the game to sell back to you. Hey, did you hear about the Nintendo patent situation? Oh,
Yeah, that's been debunked already.
yeah, there's even more bad news. In 2023, Nintendo filed a patent in the United States on a specific gameplay mechanic involving companion battles, or more precisely, the summoning of sub-characters in video games. Essentially, Nintendo filed to patent a gameplay loop that looked something like this. The player moves, summons via throwing, auto-engage or auto-move based on the environment, and then
So yeah, the patent is specifically referring to the auto battle mechanic in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and other newer Pokemon games.
battle. Oh, you mean the gameplay mechanics in the recent Pokemon games. And Pal World.
Yeah.
And some other indie-developed games. That mechanic? Yeah, so the patent was filed in 2023, and it was granted September 2nd, 2025, just a couple of weeks.
So, like, these guys really want you to think that the U.S. Patent Office doesn't know what they're talking about, and that they granted Nintendo like all this power and control. Like, patents don't work the way they think they do. I do think this does need to be talked about more. That like anybody who thinks that like this is going to limit the creativity of developers is just completely delusional. The problem is that like Power World specifically infringed on the Pokemon IP, and like they're utilizing the patents to prove that. So
Weeks ago. Nintendo has even more control on the gaming market now,
Yep.
reinforcing their ability to charge $112 for their games, because if they keep it up, there won't be anyone else in the marketplace for those games. The US government, in all their genius, is paving the way for monopolization with a company that has been engaging in a lot more anti-consumer practices than usual. Now, I'm no lawyer. I'm just a fake wizard.
Yeah. You're no lawyer. So like why exactly would I ever take what you have to say about patents seriously? Like you don't know what you're talking about.
A fake wizard that is sick of watching bad guys win. These mega corporations, Nintendo, they are the bad guys.
So
And
like
the only way to
is the joke that like he thinks he's Gandalf and that like Nintendo is Soren? Like, does he think Pokemon is the One Ring and that controlling it will somehow bring about the end of like just like
fight them is to stop playing their games and go play others instead. FakePortal.com is a free resource to help you find new games to play. There are over 100 there so far, with 1 million more well on the way. Until next time, create, innovate, inspire, and for the love of God, cancel Disney Plus, which I cannot believe is trending right now on Twitter. Cancel.
So is he a liberal? Is he like the hell was that? Okay. So to recap, like this guy is seriously complaining about mega corporations and yet never really okay, first of all, Nintendo isn't that big of a company. They have like 8,282 employees. Like that's nowhere near the size of Sony or Microsoft or any of the other companies that like are actually causing problems in the gaming sphere. Like he never once utters like any other corporation's name. In fact, he's propping up a bunch of slop indie games that will go straight to Valve, who are probably the biggest like false savior in the video game industry right now. Like people don't understand that Valve isn't based or red pilled or anything. But like the entire like vibe I get from watching this is that like this jackass wants to sit there and like glaze indie games so he can get you to visit his shitty like indie game portal so you can learn about like games his friends make, all the while trying to gaslight you into thinking they're better than Fire Emblem. It's not gonna fly. It's not gonna work. Not in a million years. And like there's a reason he keeps putting out this stuff though. This is the same thing with like Soy Girl and like all the other like Nintendo hit content like for Tanga. Like they keep going after Nintendo specifically because that's what gets them views. Like they don't have any real conviction. They don't really have any real like like opinions on these games, because like he said several times, like he doesn't own a Switch 2, he's never played any of these games. Like he's really gonna sit there and like say like nothing Nintendo can possibly do will get him to buy a Switch 2. It's like, well, then why would you ever listen to him then? Because I say this about like Raging Golden Eagle and the like too, like, oh, I'll never buy another Switch 2, like another console. It's like, well, okay, but why would I ever listen to you? Like it just seems like this completely brain dead take from someone who's just desperately trying to validate his own opinion. It's weird that like how obsessive these people are in like trying to continue this farce that Nintendo is failing, or that they're evil, or that their games aren't good, or the DLC is too expensive, and then they just kind of conveniently overlook like what everyone else is doing. It's just laughably stupid. I would argue Pocket Pair, plagiarizing Nintendo the way they did, and then trying to gaslight people. Uh, that's that's worse than anything I've ever seen Nintendo do. Like I have never seen anything Nintendo do anything nearly that scummy. Like what Pocket Pair did was like way worse than anything he brought up in this video. And like he's going to bat for them, he's shilling for them. Like they are an example of quality indie developers. Oh, but pay no attention to the contract they signed with Sony for merchandising and anime rights. Like pay no attention to that. Goy, it doesn't mean anything. So like it's laughably stupid. The indie game worship needs to stop. I've said this like, I said this years and years ago, but I haven't said it lately because indie games are so irrelevant it doesn't really need to come out. But like indie games are no replacement for big budget AAA games because they aren't as high quality, they aren't as demanding. Like you are legit better off playing retro games from the 90s than bothering with like these cheap Fire Emblem knockoffs. Like you will never ever play enough video games from good talented developers to have to resort to playing like slop like this. It's just my mentality. Like it's just my mentality about it. Like something like Wario Land 4 is so much more better made, appealing to look at, and iconic than Pizza Tower, for example. And like there are so many examples of this, like how every single indie game is just a knockoff of Fire Emblem, of like a Nintendo IP. Because like he said this in this video, right? He's sitting there and he's like, well, this Fire Emblem game looks good, but I would rather just play indie Fire Emblem clones instead. And it's just like, well, first of all, if you like Fire Emblem, why wouldn't you just play the real game? Like none of these indie games are even going to come close to what Nintendo. Like, the narrative right now is that Hollow Knight is better than Metroid. Not true. Like, even if you believe that like Hollow Knight is by itself better than any one Metroid game, like the reality is Metroid has gotten so many high quality releases over the years that are all completely different and just keep you playing. It's crazy how often I marathon these games. Like Hollow Knight will never, ever, ever be able to keep up with that release schedule. And Metroid is something that's known to be rather anemic at times. Like even for a rather slow to release Nintendo franchise, like Metroid still gets more entries than Hollow Knight ever will. It just like these indie games can't really compete, even if you really like them for what they are. Like they're just never going to be as good or successful as what Nintendo is doing. And if they are going to get swallowed up by a large corporation, just like with Minecraft, just like with Cave Story. Like there are very few examples of indie developers hitting it big and then following up with another hit. And I do think that's like kind of my takeaway from this is that like the entire cope that indie games are going to take over, it's just a cope. It's not going to go anywhere. The reality is you're not making YouTube videos about indie games. You're not making YouTube videos about games you enjoy or like developers you follow. Like you're making YouTube videos complaining about Nintendo and hoping that people visit your shitty website so they can learn more about Fire Emblem knockoff products. Like no, it's not going to work. It's never going to work. And more and more, you're going to see people like me calling you out on it. There there is no getting around the fact that this Nintendo Direct was hugely successful, that the Switch 2 is really popular, and that nothing you do is going to stop that.